Let's forget motivation in 2023. We need to focus on discipline. Hi again, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Tati, Kapaya. I normally make lifestyle and travel related videos, but today we're going to recap 2022. I'm also going to share how I plan, organize, and shape my life so that you can be the best version of yourself in 2023. Let's get into it. As a disclaimer, these are things that work for me. Not everything is going to work for you. Obviously, take everything you read, hear, and see with a pinch of salt. So let's just get straight in. At the end of every year, I always reflect on the previous year and then make a huge master to-do list / goals list for the year ahead. One thing that I always make sure to do is constantly go over this goals list. I think what a lot of people might do is just write this goals list as kind of like a manifestation thing or make a vision board for the same purpose and then just forget about it and not look at it ever again. This ideally would be something you check or can see on a really frequent basis. For me, my goals list is something I look at every month because I also make monthly goals and monthly to-do lists and then break it down into weekly and then daily. But in terms of vision boards, that should be your laptop back screen or your phone home screen or something like that so that you can see that every day. And there is some science that really backs up why that is necessary, but we'll get into that in a second. So I'm gonna go to my drive. I have a Google Drive in which I have a folder called Life, and within that folder I have everything to do with my life, whether it's meal plans, goals, to-do lists, budgets, name it. I had a number of goals all in different sections, and the sections are personal / health, university, extracurricular, money, travel, property, work / social media, and then I have a separate section for gratitude prompts. And I should also say, I'm not perfect, so I did not achieve every single one of these goals, and it's so fine if you didn't too. It's just something to work towards, and I think the main thing when reflecting on your goals, if you didn't achieve them, is to just understand why, and then if that is still something you want, then you can work on that for the next year. But anyway, so one of my goals was to go to the gym 4 times a week, and then I quickly realized the gym just isn't for me. So what I did instead was start walking, and I would do that every day. So that was kind of like my compromise. I think it's so easy when you look at social media or when you look at what other people are doing to think, oh, I should be doing that too. But as I said in the beginning, just do what works best for you. So for me, walking was the best form of exercise. So now I've learned that on my goals for 2023, I can just put walk 4 or 5 times a week as my exercise. Create a weekly meal plan. The reason I think this is a bad goal, and I think when writing goals, you should always make sure they're smart. So that's specific, measurable, achievable / attainable, reasonable, and timely. So when I say create a weekly meal plan, while that is timely because I've put weekly, it's not specific. So being more specific within those goals, I think, is the main thing. And then even saying when, like, are you going to create the meal plan on a Sunday or a Saturday? So that was a bad goal, but yeah. So university, this was just like so lame. I just put complete master's degree, which I did. So I guess that was a goal. I know when writing these goals, I was so scared because obviously I'd already started. I'd done 3 months in 2021 and I was like, wow, this is difficult. Extracurricular. I put complete 2 online courses minimum. In brackets, I put Adobe, finance, property, which I did. I did an Adobe course and I did a personal finance course, which I really enjoyed. Listen to 6 hours worth of podcast episodes or audiobooks per month, which I did. I hate the sound of that goal. It makes me sound like one of those toxic productivity influencers. My favorite podcast was The Diary of a CEO, Stephen Bartlett. And then my favorite audiobooks, I listened to Atomic Habits, which honestly changed my whole year for the better. I would highly recommend that. A lot of the things I feel like I'm saying in this video are rooted in that book. And then my other favorite one was I Will Teach You to Be Rich. That one was just a lot about financial literacy, which I'll get on to in the money section. As I've said in a couple of videos now, that is like a really big part of my life that I just don't really bring online. I feel like it's a private subject. No one really needs to know what you're doing with your money. But I feel like as 20-somethings, if you're watching this and you're 20-something, or even if you're younger or older, I think we should do a better job at just encouraging each other to learn more. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I'd actually read the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book for teens when I was younger because my mum and dad were hell-bent on making me understand finances and everything to do with that. And that was really short as well, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And then attend at least one digital marketing industry event, which I did, but unintentionally. Considering my whole degree was about digital marketing, I think it was okay. So for money and savings, I had specific accounts that I wanted to put money into on a monthly basis. One of them being a savings account, one of them being a travel account, and one of them being an investment account. And I noticed throughout the year, I actually kind of changed my mindset and plans in terms of how I wanted to save and invest my money. And I was leaning towards investing more rather than saving more after reading this one book and getting advice from some people in my family older than me. Overall, I did do that. I think I could have done better, but I can't complain. Travel, I put Budapest, Paris, south of France, Greece, Kenya. And I didn't go to south of France, but I did go to all the rest and more, which I'm so unbelievably and extremely grateful for. Obviously, some of them were family trips. One of my goals this year in terms of my work and my social media and stuff was to travel more and become more of a travel content creator, and I think I did that. I think I did that indeed. Really grateful for Ryanair too, because my 20 quid return flights made it possible. Property. I said attend 3 property auctions and then move out of my London studio into a new place by the end of the year. This is also kind of where I lacked, but also gained in other ways. So I did not go to any property auctions. I actually went to one virtually, and then I realized I'm way out of my depth here. I'm in no position to do this at the moment, so I'm gonna scrap that and focus on just learning more. I did move out of my London studio. You guys saw me living out of suitcases for literally so long, just bouncing around my family and family friends' houses. I actually don't know what I would have done if I didn't have them to just let me sleep in their spare rooms. And I haven't moved into my new place, but I've started the process, so I guess that was a win. And I also did put down a deposit on an apartment here in Kenya, which was not on the list, but the opportunity came up. There's one thing that I've learned when it comes to investing, is that sometimes you just have to take the risk. And I'm in my 20s and I have no dependents. This is like the best time for me to be diving headfirst into the most risky things in the most, sensible and calculated way. On the property front, that was that. Work and social media. I had a goal of what I wanted to earn every month minimum, which I achieved on most months. I didn't achieve every single month because I do remember whilst I was doing my degree, I had to stop working or just take on less work. But I feel like that's the nature of being self-employed and working for yourself. Like, you can't guarantee consistency, you can't guarantee security. So if that is something you're looking to do, just know it's not as reliable as getting like a 9 to 5 and knowing how much you're going to be paid every single month. It really depends on how much you work, and then I feel like more so on so many other external factors that have nothing to do with you, which is kind of stressful. I put signed to an agency by the end of the year, which I did, which is crazy. I can't believe that actually happened. I actually submitted my dissertation and then the day after signed my contract. I put expenses paid travel collaboration, which I did. I got some of my expenses paid when I went to Berlin because I was working with Visit Berlin and the hotel that I stayed in, the KPM Hotel and Residences. Love them, by the way. And then also Visit Bruges. I didn't even think about that. So that was my first paid, like fully paid for, and I was also paid. And that was so great to do with one of my friends, Becky. And then I put create a solid digital marketing business plan, because if you don't know, I just did a master's degree in digital marketing and I do plan to use it. I did create a solid plan. I guess that has happened. Those are my 2022 goals. Okay, now let's get on to the questions. First one, which I kind of like, is what has 2022 taught you? Not to be super negative, but life only gets more stressful. And I say that in a way to just be like, just get on with it kind of vibes. I think I've spent a lot of the year dwelling on like, oh, I'm so stressed. Like, once I'm just not stressed anymore, I can do this. Or once I finish this, I'll be less stressed. I've learned that life is about balancing the two. Like, with extreme happiness, you're gonna get extreme sadness, and with extreme highs, you're gonna have extreme lows. So it's just a matter of finding the ways in which you deal with those. And for me, I just know that stress is a very common theme in my life, and I'm trying to use it in a good way. One thing I learned when I was in Berlin, I went to the Museum of the Human Body, and there was a section in which it spoke about the effects of stress and how you can use it for good and for bad. Like, there's types of good stress and there's types of bad stress. And I think I was thinking of every single stressor in my life as bad, whereas you can use it for good. Fave type of content you made this year? Oh, I really have loved making YouTube videos and like my long form travel type of videos, because I think I've learned how to express myself more creatively. Oh, I don't know, like in December, I've really loved the content I've been creating short form on like Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest. I've been experimenting more with my camera, more photography, and just pushing myself creatively in that way, and just not being scared to put anything out, because I'm trying to be more consistent, but I'm just really enjoying just experimenting with different things. And that leads on to what new stuff do you want to create next year content wise. I'd love to continue making more high quality travel content. Then I also want to get more into home content and lifestyle content. Like, I love watching people's like daily vlogs, like, hey guys, this is what I got up to in a day. And I know I do that on YouTube, but I think it'd be cool to do that short form as well, and just like be more open and interactive with you guys. How do you hold yourself accountable for the goals you set? I've heard a lot of people answer this and say like, oh, tell people your goals so that they can hold you accountable. And I actually strongly disagree with that. Unless it's someone like your parents or like your partner or your closest friend or something, I don't believe in shouting from the rooftop all your goals, because there is evil out there and people will wish badly upon you, and that's just the truth. I think if you're so desperate to tell people, write it down maybe, or record yourself saying your goals and just keep it locked away somewhere. Your thoughts become things. Like, that was something I just started reading in this book by Napoleon Hill. You don't necessarily have to tell everyone for the universe, God, or whoever you believe in to hear that. For me, I like to write down my goals. I'll tell my mum my goals, my dad my goals, and then they kind of hold me accountable, because if I'm slacking, they're the first ones to be like, yo, can you fix up? And then I tell my close friends, especially friends who are like doing similar things. I think it's really great that way, because then if I have friends who are content creators or entrepreneurs or work in a similar industry, we can hold each other accountable in that way. But apart from that, I don't really tell people my goals that much. And then also I have extremely high, lofty standards for myself. So I think just my personality is what holds me accountable, because I'm not necessarily a perfectionist, but I am delusional to the point where I just can't let myself be less than amazing in the least narcissistic way possible, because I know I'm far from that. But you know, we have to strive, we have to try. Did you achieve the goals you set out to in 2022? On a whole, yes, I think I did, but with a lot of hard work and discipline. I think my word of 2022 was discipline, unintentionally, because when I tell you I had no motivation whatsoever in 2022, like my motivation was the lowest it's ever been. And I spoke about this when I was doing my like end of master's degree recap sort of video. Motivation is not going to carry you through life, I found out, because when I stopped relying on my motivation and just relied on the discipline and the systems I had in place, I was so much better. But when I was focusing on my lack of motivation and my lack of drive to just get up in the morning, that was when things were not great. And then the last one for now is, how did you start working with Pinterest? I just started posting on Pinterest, and then I think some of my videos were doing well on there, and then the Pinterest UK team reached out for me to join the Pinterest Rising Stars program, where you have like regular meetings with the Pinterest UK team. Shout out Hannah and Georgia, I love them so much, to talk about strategy and just how to perform best on the platform, learn more about best practices and all of that. And then after that, I joined a creator residency, which was where you're paid to post content on Pinterest, which was great. I loved that so much. And then after that, I just continued posting as usual, developed a really good relationship with the team, and now I have like a dedicated Pinterest manager. Yeah, so that was kind of like the pipeline to that. Out of all the platforms I'm present on, I think YouTube and Pinterest do such a great job of looking after their creators. Now let's talk about how I like to plan my year. I like to split my goals up into different categories. I'd say think about minimum 4 to 5 categories that you want to split your life up into. My categories for this year, a bit different from last year, are health and wellness, work, social, financial, and extracurricular. So when I say extracurricular, if you don't know, I'm the type of person who just loves learning new things. So in that category, it would be just everything that I'm not doing currently that I want to do. So for example, last year I did a ballet class. Recently I did a pottery class, online courses, just anything that's outside of my usual life, I would put in extracurricular. So I also have another section called What's Your Word for the Year, or words. Like I'd say pick between 1 to 3 words to focus on. Yeah, so if we start at the top, my word for the year for 2023, or words for the year I should say, are organization and discipline. So unintentionally last year discipline was my word for the year, but this year I'm really gonna focus on discipline. And I don't mean discipline in the sense of I'm gonna be so hardworking, which I am. I mean discipline in the sense of I'm gonna have a really strict work-life balance. I'm gonna set time aside to rest and recharge, because I did burn out a couple of times in 2022, which I would not recommend. So having discipline in terms of rest is just as important as being disciplined in your work. And then organization, because I think with the lifestyle I've chosen to live, being self-employed, running a business, and then also traveling a lot of the time, it's really hard to be disorganized and just live sporadically, but I want to bring that structure and organization back into my life. So those are my 2 words for the year. In terms of health and wellness, my overall categories are reading, food, and then work-life balance, as I just mentioned. So reading, if we want to make a SMART goal, I'm gonna say I read a book or an article for 30 minutes every day, 5 times a week. That's very specific and easy to track whether you're on track or not, if that makes sense. So if I only do it 3 times, I know I'm slacking on that goal. Whereas if I just put read more, do you see how ghastly of a goal that is? You understand. Work-life balance, how I'm planning to do that is have 1 full day in the week, whether it's like 2 half days or whatever it is, 1 full day where I do absolutely nothing work related. And I think the reason I've struggled with this in the past is 1, because I'm building so many things at the moment from scratch, which requires so much of my time. So I know this one is probably going to be my most difficult one. But then also, I wasn't really learning or listening to myself when it came to the type of relaxation and rest that I enjoyed. So I'm an active rester. I like doing things to relax. For example, going to the cinema, going to a coffee shop, spending time with friends, not just sitting at home doing absolutely nothing. I can't do nothing. So now that I know that, I can make sure I focus my relaxation and rest time around that. It would be great to get up to 2 days, like a full weekend by the end of the year, but I know, as I said, with the lifestyle I've chosen to live, that's not very possible being self-employed at such an early stage. But maybe when I'm more established and those things I'm building are more established, I'll be able to do that. Gosh, this video is kind of long, low-key. But yeah, anyway, so let's move on to work. So for me, creating content is part of my work on Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, YouTube. And then I also have a plan to start a newsletter, which I can't believe I've actually just said that, considering I'm so behind in the planning and execution process, considering I wanted to launch early 2023. But I'm gonna put a link down below, hopefully, and you can sign up there if you're interested. I'm aware that there are so many different aspects of my life that I don't share online, which I've kind of hinted at, that people have said that they're interested in. So that's kind of like the purpose of the newsletter and other things, where I can share stuff about travel, lifestyle, my recommendations, self-development, all of that, but more on that later. But sign up in the link below. Whilst it is a job, I started this as a hobby, and I really want to make sure I maintain my enjoyment, I maintain my love for it. I need to figure out more specific goals with content creation. For example, I can say schedule 2 weeks worth of static pins on Pinterest every other Monday. That's a really specific goal, but I'm not going to go into heavy detail on those here because I feel like no one really cares. If you do care, let me know. As seen it, we have a huge meeting coming up early Jan to figure out our 2023 goals. So we've got the podcast, we've got press, and we've got our production company. That's 3 different sectors underneath As Seen It, which I really want to focus more on. So yeah, we have goals with that. If you're interested in seeing like a startup diaries kind of thing. Obviously, I don't think we're classified as a startup because I think you have to be valued at $1 million or something crazy. But I think it'd be cool to have a series of vlogs where it's like the startup diaries or something, where we like take you behind the scenes of like running a business and starting a business or whatever. That's been one of the most like exciting and challenging things that I've decided to do. By the time this video comes out, the news won't have come out, so I can't tell you what it is, but we have such exciting news regarding As Seen It coming out, I think on the 16th of January, so go follow us on all of our socials over there. And then another thing work-wise is my digital marketing. I'm consulting now in digital marketing, which I think is a really exciting next step in my career. It started a lot sooner than I anticipated it to. It was something I just wanted to start in January, but I recently wrote an article for a company called Voxburner. It's like an extension of Student Beans, they're like corporate side. That was all about how companies can use Pinterest to target Gen Z and how best to work with creators on there. I'm starting work on another project in January as well, which I'm super excited about. So yeah, those are my 3 pillars. So you can now see why I am hesitant about my work-life balance, because it is a lot. I'm ready to work, I'm super excited. This is gonna be my first year just working. I've been in uni this whole time. I only finished in September. Social, I want to make time to see my friends and family and it not be work related. I don't have many close friends. I have a very close-knit circle, and I also happen to either be in the same industry as them or work directly with them. So I think I want to just make a conscious effort to have time where we're doing things that just aren't work related. And then last but not least, finances. I know it may not seem like it because I travel a lot, but one of my biggest goals for 2023 is to really focus on my my finances and money and my financial literacy, and just learning more about everything to do with that. I also create a yearly budget, and I change that on a monthly basis depending on how my circumstance changes. For example, with my budget, I've made sure to go in and delete any unnecessary subscriptions. So unfortunately, that meant Disney Plus had to go, had to downgrade my Netflix. I'm literally on 720p, guys. I'm on basic. Like, if you pay your own bills, you can find a way to like combine some subscriptions. For example, for my broadband and Wi-Fi, I have BT, and they have a package where you can have Netflix combined through that, and it works out cheaper. So doing things like that, really going over my finances and figuring out ways to just live cheaper. My expenses have gone up and down at the same time. It's very weird. Maybe I could do, if you guys are interested, maybe I could do a full-on video about how I budget and manage my finances, because I'm really interested in that. On the financial literacy note, it kind of links in with the business side of things, because I want to learn more about accounting and how to like manage finances for business and stuff like that. Read more books, do an online course. One of the books I'm reading at the moment, called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, literally came out in 1937. It's not necessarily about money. I think it's more just about self-development so far, but it's like the father of all self-development, self-help books. Every single book I've read that's in that non-fiction genre of like become a better person references this book. So I'm really enjoying it at the moment. And then also investing. I really want to learn more about investing, whether that's in index funds, ETFs, property, all of that, and just like continue on that journey. As I said, I feel like this is something I never really talk about on the internet, so it feels kind of weird. What I think would be better is for me to share the YouTubers and social media creators who create content around finances and financial literacy that I found useful, because there are so many that I watch on a regular basis which have completely changed the game for me. I'm so grateful for people like that putting out free information about such important topics. Like, people are out here teaching people stuff for free, and I'm here like, check out this cute coffee shop. So to finish off, I wanted to quickly touch on why I think people don't achieve their goals. I don't know why I feel like I'm solicited to give this advice at 23 years old with all my wisdom, but let's go into it. So number one is mindset. I think people in our day and age truly lack a positive mindset, and it sounds so cheesy and cliche, and I wish there was a better way to put this that made it sound so realistic, but I think we're so negative nowadays. People think that they can't do things. If I were to chalk my achievements up to one thing, yes, I was disciplined, yes, I was motivated or whatever, I think it's all down to mindset. I am delusional to the point of no return. I truly believe I can do anything, and I think that is the secret at the end of the day, and I think people just don't do that. I think about it this way: if someone else in the world has achieved what it is you want to achieve, surely that means you can too, right? That's just how I look at it. And yes, people are privileged, yes, life is unfair, but the way I see it, I'd rather be delusional and just believe I can, because that way you're more likely to. And this is coming from a black woman, okay? I'm at the bottom of the pack in terms of privilege. You know, obviously there's different intersectionalities when we look at class, but just in general, if you look at it, white men, black women, I'm telling you guys, just believe, please. I wouldn't have it any other way, by the way. There is also finding a balance in creating unrealistic goals. And I don't mean unrealistic goals in the sense that, oh, you can't do that. I mean creating goals and then not creating or putting the systems in place to achieve those goals, making them unrealistic, if that makes sense. I feel like it's so easy for what I'm saying to be taken out of context and to be misconstrued, but I'm really hoping you understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying you can be an Olympic athlete. I'm saying if you believe you can, you're more likely to be able to. Let me tell you why. If you make a vision board, for example, I have a love-hate relationship with vision boards. I love them because they work for me, but I hate them because of how other people think they're gonna magically work for them. So you have this thing in your brain called the reticular activating system, which basically acts as a funnel for you to focus on the things that you're thinking about. So when it comes to vision boards, if you've got something on your vision board, for example, a car, your reticular activating system is gonna see that car every day, and you're gonna be subconsciously thinking about that car, which may lead you to see that car in your real life every single day. It doesn't mean that that car is magically showing up every day for the purpose of you. It just means that you're more focused and your brain is on high alert for that car. That car was always there, you just didn't notice it before. So if you apply that logic and that science to your other goals, if you write down, I'm gonna achieve 10 A stars in my GCSEs on your vision board, and you see that every day, you're more likely to focus on that, and you will be presented with opportunities that will allow you to reach those goals. You're not gonna be magically given 10 A stars, you still have to do the work, but you're more likely to notice the things that will help you achieve those goals. I hate the way I see people make a vision board and then think that their life is magically gonna turn out the way that that vision board looks because they've made a vision board. Like, you still have to put in the work, but then at the same time, it's impossible to apply that same logic to every single person on the globe because everyone is privileged in different ways. So many people have zero access to anything. The fact that we're even sitting here, you're watching this, I'm making this on a camera with internet, with a roof over my head, just speaks to how much privilege we have to even think that we can do things. So yeah, as I said again, take everything with a pinch of salt. But another reason why I think people don't achieve their goals is because of a poor environment. And I don't mean like physically, whilst that can also contribute, I mainly mean mentally. So the people you surround yourself with and your like social media diet, if that makes sense, the people you follow, because you are who you surround yourself with. My mom would always tell me, if you want to be a chicken, fly with the chickens. If you want to be an eagle, fly with the eagles. Like, you have to surround yourself with the type of people you want to be like. And if you're surrounding yourself with negative people, you're going to end up being negative whether you like it or not. It's nothing you can control. The way I see it, it's all like energy and all like physics, because we're all made of atoms and our vibrations will match the vibrations of the people around us. That's just how I see it. I don't know, like, if we want to talk in Gen Z language, like, your vibes will like rub off on each other. Yeah, but you get me. Like, the energy you surround yourself with is so important, and the people you follow on social media who you're scrolling past every day are so important. Lack of discipline is the other thing. Discipline isn't something that you flick a switch and boom, you're disciplined. It's months and months of hard work to get to that place and doing things when you just don't want to do them. I think the best book that I read that helped with my discipline was Atomic Habits, and it basically in a nutshell talked about how if you just make one tiny step towards the long-term goal you want to achieve every day, those atomic habits will compound into achieving your long-term goal. So for example, if you want to start running every day, that atomic habit, that 1% could literally be putting on your running shoes and stepping out the door. Do you get me? And just doing something every single day instead of trying to change your life overnight. One thing I've learned over my life is that shortcuts simply do not work. I consistently, every single year, try find a way to take a shortcut, and I'm quickly reminded that it doesn't work. In any aspect of your life, taking a shortcut just won't work as well as building something long and sustainable. Give yourself like 2-3 months to work on a habit. You'll have that discipline, you'll have that routine. And then if you do mess up every now and again, don't dwell on that and don't fall into a slippery slope. Just get back up. You know, life is like this. It's not a roller coaster that only goes up, as much as I like to believe and tell myself that. The other thing I'd say is wanting everything to be perfect before you start. My goodness, guys, we live in a society where people think you have to be perfect to start because we're seeing everyone's end result. I know obviously there are some people who are instantly good at things and do achieve things instantly, but that is not a realistic way to approach life, okay? Consistency over perfectionism. Don't wait for things to be perfect to start. There's no point, because they never will be. It's like Ed Sheeran said that one time, like when he's writing songs, it's like you turn on a dirty tap and you just have to let all the dirty water run through before it runs clear. That's kind of like how I see things. It's going to be bad, and the only way to be good is to be consistent and continue doing it. So yeah, that's why I think people don't achieve their goal. I hope this has helped. I hope this has been motivating. This isn't my usual type of content, but I do want to make more like sit down videos every now and again and just like talk about different topics. I feel like that'd be interesting. Let me know what you would like me to talk about, if you want me to talk about anything. If you don't, definitely let me know too. I won't be offended. I'm wishing everyone a happy new year. 2023 is going to be so great for you. I feel it. I'm sending you the positive energy, I'm sending you the positive vibes, and you have to tell yourself and believe that in order for it to be great. Because what did Henry Ford say? Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are correct. I believe in you so much. If you ever need someone to just tell you they believe in you, I am the person to come to you. I've just talked at you for so long. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Hope everyone has a happy new year celebrating with whatever you're doing, and we'll catch up in the new year. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Love you guys so much. Thank you guys for all the support in 2022. It's been such a great year. So yeah, I'm gonna go now, but I'll see you next time. I'll see you next year. So bye.